The head is the superior part of the body that is attached to the trunk by the neck. It contains one of the most important organs of human body, the brain. The head also includes special sensory receivers such as the eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. Our discussion today is going to be on osteology of the skull based on the following headings: the skull, the parts of the skull, bones of the skull, sutures, and anatomical positions of the skull. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. The skull. The skeleton of the head is called the skull. It consists of 22 bones that are joined together to form the shape of the head. Parts of the skull. The skull can be divided into two main parts: the neurocranium or brain box and the viscerocranium or facial skeleton. The neurocranium. The neurocranium is the upper part of the cranium which encloses the brain. It consists of the skull calf, that's the upper part, and the base, that is the lower part. Viscerocranium. The viscerocranium or facial bones consists of the rest of the skull and includes the mandible. Bones of the skull. Out of the 22 bones of the skull, the neurocranium is formed by a series of 8 bones. The remaining 14 bones formed the viscerocranium. The 8 bones forming neurocranium are the frontal bone, occipital bone, sphenoid bone, ethmoid bone, a pair of parietal bone, and a pair of temporal bone. Therefore, the neurocranium consists of 2 paired bones and 4 unpaired bones. The paired bones are the parietal and temporal bones, and here is an acronym for the 4 unpaired bones so that you can easily recall them. The acronym is FOSSAE, where the F stands for frontal bone, O stands for occipital bone, S stands for sphenoid bone, and E stands for ethmoid bone. The 14 bones forming the viscerocranium are also divided into paired and unpaired bones. The paired bones are the maxilla, zygomatic, nasal, lacrimal, palatine, and inferior nasal concha. The unpaired ones are the vomer and mandible. Thus, all the bones forming the facial skeleton are paired except vomer and mandible, that's VA. Sutures. Joints in the skull are known as sutures. These sutures are the coronal suture, which is placed between the frontal and the parietal bones, the sagittal suture, which is placed in the median plane between the 2 parietal bones, and lambdoid suture, which lies posteriorly between the occipital and the 2 parietal bones. This meeting point between the sagittal and lambdoid suture is known as lambda, and this meeting point between the coronal sutures and sagittal sutures is known as brachia. On the facial surface, we have the nasal suture, which is placed between the 2 nasal bones. And on the side of the skull, we have the parieto-temporal suture, which from the name is placed between the parietal and temporal bone on both the right and left sides. Anatomical positions of the skull. There are 2 planes to consider when it comes to orientation of the skull. These are the radius base line and Frankfurter's horizontal line. The radius base line is a horizontal line joining the infraorbital margin to the center of external acoustic meters, that is the air point. Whereas the Frankfurter's horizontal line is obtained by joining the infraorbital margin to the upper part of external acoustic meters. Do you find this video helpful? Please let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, watch the next video.